China's first driverless sky train, passengers get dizzy and smash window to escape after week of opening. China's first commercial sky train opened to the public in Wuhan City, Hubei Province, on September 26. According to local media, the SkyTrain is a suspended monorail train where the track is supported in the air by steel or concrete pillars above the train. The trams use unmanned driving technology, enabling passenger transportation without human intervention on the line. Equipped with a fiber optic system, the train can monitor the temperature of the track and cables, track vibration, and other operational environmental factors in real time, and issue warnings for any abnormalities to ensure smooth operation. The SkyTrain will allow facial recognition, QR code scanning, and other diversified integration for fare gates. The first phase of the AirTram project has a total length of approximately 10.5 kilometers with a maximum speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Besides, it features 6 stations, starting from Jiufeng Mountain and ending at Longquan Mountain. It connects tourist attractions such as Jiufeng National Forest Park and Longquan Mountain Mingqiu King's Tomb Archaeological Site Park at both ends. The 2-carriage car can hold up to 220 people. As reported by local media, the SkyTrain provides a smoother ride and effectively eliminates interference from other traffic and pedestrians compared to traditional railways and double-track subways. There is a transparent glass floor on the car, allowing passengers to see the city under their feet. However, some passengers don't have the same amazing feeling as described in the media. On October 2, it was reported that some passengers got trapped in the car, feeling dizzy. They suffered from the lack of oxygen, so some people smashed the window in a rush to escape. A passenger wrote on social media, "I was one of the trapped people. I felt dizzy, being deprived of oxygen. The children inside were sweating. The glass turned foggy. The staff outside did not open the door. Someone in the carriage smashed the window and the back door was blocked. I opened it and escaped. It was terrifying." The staff also said they didn't know why it malfunctioned. "It would take half an hour to wait for rescue. By the time they came, I guess I had fainted." The accident occurred just after 1 week when the SkyTrain started operation. Hospital blast occurs in Heilongjiang with officials' strange reaction. A powerful explosion happened at the second affiliated hospital of Harbin Medical University around 7 a.m. on October 3. The sound was so loud that all the surrounding residents heard it. An insider revealed that the heating pipes caught fire and exploded under huge pressure. It is reported that after the fire, the entire respiratory department of the 6th inpatient department lost power for over 2 hours, and 8 ICUs lost power. Ventilators and other equipment can be used by batteries for about an hour. Hospital staff responded that the fire was under control at 8 a.m. and was extinguished at around 9 a.m.
Run away. Foreign capital is withdrawing from China on a large scale. Recently, foreign fund managers have withdrawn funds from Chinese index stock funds (ETFs) on a large scale. Foreign capital has recently withdrawn funds from China's index stock funds (ETFs) on a large scale, and this has continued for 4 weeks, indicating that the market's confidence in China's economic prospects is significantly declining. According to Bloomberg, the root cause of this wave of divestments can be attributed to 2 points. First, the results of the U.S. presidential election showed that Trump won, which triggered market concerns about additional tariffs on Chinese exports. Second, Beijing's economic stimulus measures have failed to give investors confidence in China's ability to effectively respond to upcoming economic challenges. Last week, China's large-cap ETFs with a scale of $9.5 billion saw outflows of $315 million, marking the 4th consecutive week of withdrawals since large-scale capital inflows in early October. During the same period, the MSCI China ETF also experienced an outflow of $280 million. Roxana Islam, director of industry research at TMX Vetafi, pointed out, Trump has always advocated reducing dependence on China and promoting U.S. manufacturing, which has put China ETFs under great pressure. She further added that with Trump's victory, investors are optimistic about the prospects of the U.S. stock market, and coupled with possible changes in trade policy, many international funds have chosen to withdraw from the Chinese market. In addition, the Trump administration's tax cuts and deregulation policies have also made investors more optimistic about the U.S. market, thus weakening interest in risk assets. Beijing's recently announced stimulus measures also failed to spark market enthusiasm. The plan was mainly aimed at easing the debt burden of local governments, but failed to provide the comprehensive fiscal support expected by the market. Islam believes that investors were expecting Beijing to launch more powerful stimulus measures to deal with China's growing debt problem, but now they are disappointed with the lack of a comprehensive plan and the uncertainty of China's policy after Trump's victory. Trump effect emerges as Chinese and Hong Kong stock markets fall together. Hong Kong stocks fall below 20,000 points. On Tuesday, November 12th, China's A shares and Hong Kong stocks fell collectively, with Hong Kong stocks falling below 20,000 points again. Analysts pointed out that the reason was the market's disappointment with the CCP's economic policies and concerns about Trump's potential return to power. On that day, Hong Kong stocks continued the decline from Monday, closing down 580 points, or 2.84%, at 19,846 points, falling below the 20,000-point mark. Last Friday, the 10 trillion yuan debt reduction measures from the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress disappointed the market. After the market opened on Monday, Hong Kong stocks fell sharply, closing down 1.45% that day. The opening performance on Tuesday was still good, with stocks rising slightly at one point but soon turned around and fell sharply, at one point dropping by more than 600 points. Market analysts believe that the reasons for the recent decline in Hong Kong stocks include the depreciation of the RMB, the market's disappointment with the CCP's so-called rescue policy, and the influence of the Trump effect. On Monday morning, the three major A-share indexes also fell sharply but rebounded in the afternoon, closing higher on the same day. However, on Tuesday afternoon, A-shares took a sharp turn downward. As of the close of the day, the Shanghai Composite Index fell 1.39%, the Shenzhen Component Index fell 0.65%, the Beijing Stock Exchange 50 fell 1.98%, the Science and Technology Innovation 50 fell 0.98%, 2.17%, and the Chinext Index fell 0.07%. Mainland financial media reported that the trends of A-shares and Hong Kong stocks reflected the market's disappointment with domestic policies that were not as good as expected, and concerns about Trump's potential return to power. This sentiment was particularly evident among foreign capital. Trump launched the U.S.-China trade war during his previous term, which severely damaged the Chinese economy. During his presidential campaign, Trump repeatedly stated that he would impose a 60% tariff on Chinese goods. It is generally believed that Trump will take a tougher economic policy toward the CCP after he takes office as president next January. Many foreign investors are stepping up their withdrawal from China to avoid tariff risks. Chinese people are fleeing mainland China, sending $250 billion abroad in 4 quarters. Due to increasing concerns about the current situation, Chinese people are transferring funds abroad through various channels. Analysts believe that this is the inevitable result of the CCP's ideological governance. Although the CCP implements foreign exchange controls and the annual purchase and settlement quota for each person is $50,000, more and more Chinese are transferring large amounts of funds abroad through cryptocurrencies and by setting up shell companies. The Wall Street Journal recently reported that, according to statistics, in the 4 quarters ending in June, assets that evaded CCP supervision and moved overseas amounted to $254 billion, which is more than the funds that fled China in the past decade. Between 2015 and 2016, there was a wave of capital outflows caused by the decline in real estate. The actual amount is said to be even more. Epoch Times columnist Wang He said, "This incident only shows that China's current economic situation is very bad. People from all walks of life who have a little money are thinking about transferring funds out to preserve value and hedge risks. Not only that, since the outbreak of the epidemic, because the CCP has implemented a closed policy and continued to suppress private enterprises, foreign capital has also fled China." According to data released by the State Administration of Foreign Exchange of the Communist Party of China, Foreign direct investment in China's international balance of payments decreased by US $14.8 billion from April to June this year, setting a record high. Wang He said, "At present, whether it is the elite class or the general public in China, the Communist Party of China has to cut their flesh to replenish the economy. But this has formed a vicious circle. Everyone is more urgently and unscrupulously transferring funds out, which has accelerated the decline of the entire Chinese economy." Faced with the sluggish economic situation, the Communist Party of China has recently launched a series of so-called economic stimulus policies. Analysts believe that due to the Communist Party's economic model dominated by a planned economy, these policies will be difficult to boost the economy. Li Hengqing, an economist at the Washington Information and Strategic Institute, said, "Even if some monetary policy adjustments are made now, it is only to stabilize the economy and consolidate the regime, and then some tricks are released. That is not real. What is the core purpose of the trick? To cheat money, to deceive you into investing, and wait for it to recover and deal with you anyway. And those ordinary people who have no ability or channels to transfer assets can only leave it to fate." Wang He said, "So in the current situation, people are eager for change, and the whole society is in a state of chaos and confusion.